Welcome to Own It, the podcast where we talk to real estate thought leaders about embracing your strengths, taking your career to new heights, and owning your future. Good morning. We are live at Inman. It's so exciting. I'm Hillary Saunders, co-founder and chief broker officer at Side, joined with Spencer Kroll, my managing broker of Southern California, and our special handsome guest. See, I didn't even say you were handsome. I said he was handsome.
Now I'm upset.
You're handsome when you have the bow tie, but...
Dan Smith at Anvil, welcome and thank you for being on our podcast.
Thank you for having me on.
I love this because you not only have experience being a top producing realtor, producer, sell your brokerage, and now you get the best job in the whole world of being captain of culture.
Captain of culture. That's like,
I love this.
I have like a whole stance.
No, I've seen the superhero shirt that you do have.
One of my agents got that for me. They made it. Yeah.
I like that. Now, so two questions for you. How do you find a phone booth in order to change into... how did you come up with that title?
Honestly, do you guys watch that Hotels.com commercial where he's like Captain Obvious?
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I should be like that guy, but I can't be obvious. What should I be? Okay, I'm good at culture, so I'm captain of culture.
I love
that's how
it.
it came about. And that's not my role, right? All I do is really focus on the culture of the company.
But you've been so successful at it, growing from 7 to 70 now?
Yeah, we launched with 7 and we're at 71 about 10 minutes ago, I think.
Oh, no, it's better to say 7 to 70. So, get rid of that one person.
So that guy's out. You're out. Yeah. You got to go. Spencer says you're probably going to be
or get
anyway.
6 more before the end of the podcast. It'll be 7 to 77. That would be
cool.
Yeah.
Goals.
That's a challenge.
Goals. Hashtag goals.
Well, there you go. No, but here's a kind of cool thing, right? Because we talk about building a brand, and so obviously one thing that agents want to know is how do I become successful, right? Like what is your brand going to do for me? So culture is a big part of that. When you're recruiting agents, what is the culture that you're talking to them about?
So yeah, we recruit on 4 pillars, and we always start with culture because it is foundational. It's the most important thing that we do. We tell people we're like the Marines. We're always looking for a few good men or women. Mm-hmm. People say, how big do you want to get? How many do you want to add this year? So we don't have a number. We don't want to just grow to X, because if the goal is to grow to X, the wrong people might come over. Mm-hmm. So we're really trying to attract the right cultural fit for who we are, who our tribe is. And when people kind of get a sense for what that tribe is like, and we tell everybody being a lone wolf is great. And if you can be a lone wolf in this business, it's so challenging because it's just you, and real estate sucks sometimes, and it can be like so up and down and depressing, right? But we're like a pack. And so if you want to be part of a pack, and you want to be part of a family, our mantra, it's on our wall, is we are not a family business, we are a business family. If you want to be part of that family, then that's what we are.
I think that's a key. That's a key to a lot of successful companies, is having that right family feel, whatever it is, whether it's small, mighty, whatever. What do you guys do to encourage team building, culture building within the team? So,
a lot of companies, it's been my experience, they really focus heavy on training and really focus heavy on tools. And we do. Like those are secondary pillars, 2, 3, 4, right? But for culture, it's what we do together as a family. So a minimum of once a week, usually 2 times a week, and on occasion 3 times a week, we are doing something that is in fact outside of the office as a group of people. Now, no one attends all of them except for me. Like, I'm the only person who shows up to everything. But we might do a happy hour, we might do golf, we might do bowling, we might do going for a walk around the lake, going for a hike up a trail. There's just a lot of things that we do that are just us together, walking, talking, hanging out as a business family.
So this isn't, it's not like, oh, come in, here's going to be this conversation about how to prospect. It's just, let's hang out.
Yeah, let's hang out.
You ever do the mini golf?
We have done mini golf.
Look, I'd like to
we've
be
done mini golf,
next
we've
time.
done real golf. We do a thing called drinks at the driving range. Mm-hmm. Everybody rolls up with ice chests and golf clubs, and half the people don't even golf. They just sit there and drink. And watch everybody else try to hit balls. And yeah, we just do a lot of fun stuff like that.
When you're doing that, how collaborative, because obviously agents are competing against each other, you're in the same market. What does that do in terms of collaboration, or does it help when there might be tension between agents?
So that's another part of when we bring on the right people. You're not a lone wolf. You are part of a pack, mm-hmm. and we only hire people who are team-oriented. You've got to be willing to give just as much as you want to take. You can't just come in and take ideas and find out about things. You have to be willing to give help. You've got to be willing to offer advice. You've got to be there to answer questions when questions need answering. And so when people understand that that's the rule when coming on, and some people don't come on, by the way. Some people are like, well, I don't want to help anybody, right? And they're not a fit for our family. But when they do come on, they understand that's how it is. So we have a very robust Slack channel. I think we've got 100 channels in our Slack channel.
Oh, God, I just got a headache.
Broken up to different topics. And so if someone has questions about buyer needs or know this agent, like we have a know this agent channel. Who knows this agent? I'm writing an offer. It's competitive.
That's great.
We want to, like, can you know them? Can you put in a good word that it's me? We just have so many channels that are geared towards helping in all these little tiny ways. So there's not really, I just found out yesterday that 3 of my agents all wrote an offer on the same house. Right? Just coincidentally, they all know that they're writing the offer and they're joking about it. And I was like, hey, it's good for me. I feel like I'm going to win. But 2 of you guys, sorry about that. But they're joking about it, having fun with it. It is what it is. Everybody understands that we're there to help. You will, on occasion, have to compete. But the greater good in our culture wins out.
How do you handle the difficult situations where, say, somebody isn't the right fit and they're already, in? Or has that happened yet?
It has happened. I've gotten better at it. One of the things we've actually implemented, because sometimes apparently Dan is just a poor decision maker. Not often, but it has happened. So what we've actually done is the first round of interviews is through me. The second round of interviews, the person coming in has to run the gauntlet.
Ooh.
And so that means I've got to sit down with a panel of my agents. Three to
random?
3 to 5 of my agents, and I just rotate it through so no one has to do like a full-time job for interviewing. We'll just, hey, who can be in on this day at this time to meet with an agent who's already going to be in anyway, maybe conveniently. So they get to pick their brand. So they're not there to figure out if they're good agents. They're not there to figure out if they're good at contracts or what their knowledge level or success level is. They're there only to figure out, will they be a good fit with the fam. Now I've got like additional buy-in that people are like, oh no, this is not a good fit. This is a good fit. And then if they run the gauntlet and they make it through, then the final is back with me and we start talking nitty-gritty about contract terms.
Yeah. And does it stay, when you do that, are you finding you have a better success rate of people that are staying that are the right fit?
So if nobody had ever left, we'd be at 74 in the last 3 years. Oh, so we have almost no record. Turnover.
That's amazing retention rate. You wrote a book on failing forward.
Greatly.
Failing forward greatly?
Failing forward. I should have renamed it. Dropped the ball on that one.
Oh, man.
So yeah, failing greatly.
But that's an amazing skill to learn, too, is like learn from your mistakes. What are some of the failures that you and Anvil have made that you've learned from?
So we have hired incorrectly on occasion. So of the turnover rate, 3 have left.
Yeah. And
there's also been about agents. 4 that we have asked to leave because Dan was a moron. Apparently.
And these are just agents you're talking about?
Those are just agents.
So I want to talk support staff after this.
Yeah, okay. Well, support staff is easy. No one's ever left, and we've never let anyone go.
Okay.
Better at that one, apparently.
Excellent.
But I don't even know what I was talking about.
Failure. I'm sorry. I threw you off. I do that.
Derailed. Squirrel.
I still don't know what I was talking about. What about failure?
Failure. What'd you learn from failure? What are some things that
we've learned? Sometimes I do hire wrong. We've learned that sometimes what we think the agents wanted is different what the agents wanted. So we've had to adjust from a firm standpoint about what we are offering and how we are offering it. Like I used to mandate first week, like, all right, I come out of the real estate coaching world, everyone's going to coach all the effing time. Like you guys, I don't care if you want to coach or not, you're getting coached.
Yeah.
And it turns out, you know what? Some of them just don't want to be coached. They just want to do them. And so we took the mandatory coaching away. That's an example of people were just not liking it sometimes. And now we do coaching by demand. So when they want it, it's there. If they don't want it, I don't force them into it. And now that we've removed the must to want, more coaching happens voluntarily, and people are getting more out of it than I was making them do it. That was a mistake I learned along the way.
What sort of stuff are they doing together? Like, are they coaching each other as well? It sounded like when you're saying people are buying
So
into
I do
it.
have a leadership team and some mentors, and so they're a little bit more responsible for the newer agents who come on. I still assist, but they're more like contracts and understanding the process of escrows and listings and first showings of clients and such, right? I run more of what I would call tactical which is like, okay, you're actually producing and you're producing well. Let's figure out how to even ratchet that up. Mm-hmm. Business planning maybe at a little bit higher level than like, I'm licensed, what do I do? So I used to do it all, and I've added a leadership team that has taken that off of my plate a little bit, that frees me up. It was easy when I had 7 agents, right?
Sure.
70 though, it's like it's not herding cats. It's herding, like,
70 is like almost, it is. It's like 3 classrooms of kindergartners.
And it sometimes can feel like kindergarten.
Yeah, there's a unit of measurement I don't think I've ever heard before. It's, how many kindergarten classrooms do you have there? Oh, about 4 or 5.
When I compare it to cats.
Yeah, no, but I got something for you, because a lot of times an agent, so there's some people that don't want to be, that they're happy where they are, right? Like, oh, I'm selling, 10 million a year, 12 million, whatever the numbers are. Do you have any people that just are okay with plateauing?
Maybe half.
Really?
And that's the other thing. In the beginning, I was goal setting. I was pushing, prodding, pulling. I would drag your ass kicking and screaming to my goal for you. Mm-hmm. Turns out it was my goal for them, not their goal for them. And I just wanted to see them succeed at a high level. So learning as well that their goals are their goals. And so for me to help them accomplish their goals, not what I think they're capable of, was a big thing for me to have to learn. And so the coaching by demand is very individualized now. I have some agents who want to do A, some who want to do Z, and every letter in between.
Yeah. No, and so with the individualized coaching, and they have their goals, that's a huge lesson to learn, that your goals aren't their goals. But you obviously have goals for the company. So how do you align that, or do you shift I just feel like, how often are you shifting your goals, and where do you see the agents in it?
I'm reviewing the goals at least monthly. I do a personal and business SWOT every quarter. Mm-hmm.
But for those of people who don't know what SWOT...
weakness, opportunity, and threat. It's assessment not only for Dan personally in life, but for Anvil as a firm. Sure. So I do the SWOT quarterly. I review the numbers at least monthly. And then I take a look at pace. I do get into the analytics, right? I have a coach. I'm real big on coaching. I was always coached when I was an agent to succeed. Now I'm an owner, and I feel that I need an ownership coach to succeed. And I have a coach, and he has this saying, math is the path. And so understanding the math behind success and understanding the metrics that go behind success. I don't really get into KPIs necessarily as much, but just metrics. KPIs probably over my head. I'm just not that smart, but I can do like basic metrics. But I am constantly revising. It's like a fluid floating document, right? Depending on what's going on and what I want to achieve, from what I thought I wanted to do in December, January, to where I might be in June or July. That could be up, that could be down, that could be flat.
I think that's really great, because a lot of times people will look at, where am I failing, right? Right. I didn't meet these goals, and a lot of times you have to change your goals to be where you are.
Sometimes my plan's fucking great. I was just bad at executing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes my plan was horrible, and it took me like 2 quarters to figure that out. Mm-hmm. And so like, wow, that's a super bad plan, as it turns out. I need to change my plan because I had this hallucination of what it was going to be like, and it turns out that real life wasn't like that.
Well, and you can't always have green all the way down on all your goal sheets. Otherwise, either you're not setting the right goals, or you're, I don't know.
My wife makes these impossible goals because she never...
do tell.
She literally never wants to hit a goal, right? So whatever she did last year, she's like, I want to do this. I was like, that's a big jump. That's like a 40% jump. She's like, I know, but if I hit my goal, I'm going to be so mad, because that means I settled. It means I didn't go big enough. Wow. So she does this ass backwards thing in her head. It's like, it's got to be so big that I can't even get there. And that'll push me to get there, not get there. It's like, I don't even know what that means.
The way, for me, it's like, right? if I hit a goal, it's time for me to buy a lottery ticket. Right?
There you go, yeah. So she does it even weirder than that, right? She's like, I need to make it so big that I have to strive to not get there.
So how difficult is it? I mean, you go home and you're married to work. Right, it's and a lot of times
now this just turned into therapy.
Therapy session.
No, but coaching. I have enough issues where coaching my girlfriend, like, let me show you how to make the coffee, or like whatever it is, because you have your idea. What is that like?
It's interesting, because we're fundamentally different in our approaches to business too. Like, if there's a opposites attract Paula Abdul song about how to run your real estate business, it's her and I. Like, we don't do anything alike as when it comes to like mindset, how we're going to do it, how we're going to implement it or execute on it. So it's really interesting that, but she's still in production. I'm no longer in production, right? I got out of production in 2006 actually. But she's still in production. So she runs her real estate business, and I run Anvil, and so we don't really cross paths. There are some times when she jumps in at a high level because of, maybe a problem in Anvil that I now need her. She's a broker, a lot of 20 plus years of experience on the legal side too, that I need her to jump in. Those conversations are typically with you, a bow tie and a dog on Zoom.
Eddie, hi Eddie. Yeah.
She jumps in on those, but otherwise I don't jump into her business. She doesn't jump into mine. So when we go home, we share war stories about what it was like, but we don't really necessarily take each other's work home with us because we run our own shops.
Yeah, so you're both in real estate, but from different angles.
Yeah.
So Anvil was on Real Trends, best list. You guys were voted number 1 in your area as far as like favorites, right? Favorite real estate company recently.
Well, I don't think Real Trends did that. I think
Real Trends those are two separate accolades.
Gotcha.
Two separate accolades.
Yes. So Real Trends was, we were the number 1 team in Orange County, mega team, which is like the big dogs, for units, and number 2 in volume. And then there was also a recognized, voted best of by just citizens of Orange County,
right.
Which is pretty cool.
Which I think translates the way that your culture is within your company, then those people can go and translate it out into the community and do the best kind of service. So within Anvil, do you have all single producers or do you have teams within the company?
Both. We have the ability for people to come in with teams, to grow teams, to start teams. We are very heavy on individual producers, but that's only by their choice, not by mine. We have like bionic, right?
I love it.
The tools and the technology. We have the ability to help them grow teams and to build teams. Some of them just aren't at that stage. Some of them have done it and decided this isn't for me. I don't know why you do what you do, Dan. This is crazy town. Like you spend all your time working with. I'm just going to do my business now.
So how do they unwind that if they have a team and they decide it's not?
They literally fold them into Anvil. Like,
okay.
You know what? Why don't you just be with Anvil now?
Look at that option.
So that has progressed a little bit. A couple of them split up their teams and just folded their shop into being independent agents with us because they didn't want to. It's hard work being a leader. Sure. It's really hard work being a leader, right? And they just didn't want to do that. They wanted to go sell real estate, which is what they're good at.
And when the team falls apart, did the team members ever come together to make their own team?
No. Well, theoretically, I guess they could, but it has never happened.
Okay. All right. Well, now there's a challenge, right?
There you go.
Put that in as a goal.
I don't know if that's a goal.
No.
Where'd you get your inspiration, your excitement for this day in, day out? Because it's surely exhausting.
It can be exhausting. I do a really good job of taking some time to myself on occasion and recharging and refreshing, and I'll disappear for a day or two and get the batteries amped back up again. But I've always been, even in the book, it talks about it, right? But the mindset, Jim. So if you just try to have energy every day and you haven't been training for it, preparing for it, and upping the level of just the how tiring it can be. You guys ever go on vacation, you come back that first day after you've been on vacation, you're just dead ass tired by like 12 or noon or 1 o'clock, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it takes you a while to get back to the cadence that you feel comfortable working till 3, 4, 5. So I go what I call the mindset gym every day, reading, affirmations, watching powerful things, always keeping myself kind of mentally strong and motivated, and even throughout the day, morning, noon, night. So it's kind of like we go to the gym to make our bodies healthy, to keep our bodies strong. I call it the mindset gym to keep my mental being strong.
Are you taking notes?
No, I just want to say you go to the gym. I don't go. I talk about going to the gym.
I lift no weights. I'm allergic to weights.
There you go.
Right? Peloton is my jam.
What are you reading right now?
Yeah.
What are you reading right now?
I'm reading 5 books right now. I'm also kind of like that squirrel. I can only read a couple chapters at a time. Okay. I just finished the latest Simon Sinek book. And I started The Obstacle is the Way. And Raving Fans, and there's one other new one that we just dove into. Oh, What Everybody is Saying. Written by an FBI profiler about body image.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Now I'm frightened.
I'm also reading fictional. I'm also reading a fictional book about Achilles, and listening to a fictional book too about like some spy. So I kind of mix it up. Sometimes I want those books to get away from reality. Like I can't read like what everybody is saying and like unwind.
Yeah.
Like I just think real estate.
All right. So you just said something. Your habits. So this is really fascinating to me because we meet a lot of people who are like, I do this, then I do this, and you're reading 5 books at once. You're doing the culture. You're doing the mind gym, which I love the concept of that. So how do you handle the squirrels? Because for me, I get squirrels, and seriously, that's it. I go down a rabbit hole. I'm lost. I'm trying to do 5 things at once.
We're talking about a lot of animals, Spencer.
Well,
rabbits, squirrels.
And then dogs, and you're herding cats, and
it is.
You have a couple of. I had goat for dinner a couple nights ago. Seriously, I did. It's a whole other thing. Well, I do want to chat about that. Maybe not today.
I had goat in Egypt. It's the only time I've eaten goat.
Really? Yeah. I will chat because Greek. I had Greek goat, and then I had.
But how do you keep yourself straight?
See, there we go. This is what's happening. This is the example.
So get out of the rabbit hole. Yeah. So check this out. When I was a kid and an adult, doctor said I was diagnosed with ADHD, which I disagree with.
Okay.
No, I totally. I'm a total squirrel.
I was going to say I was going to argue now. But
I'm a total squirrel. But what I've learned to do is make it a strength, and so I do time block very well. So it's been a learned discipline for now I know that I can't do one thing all day.
Right.
Weakness. Right? Character flaw, whatever. Can't do one thing all day. I'll never stay the course. I'll go off. So what I've learned to do is time block in hour to 90-minute blocks. And I have the discipline to stay with it for 60 to 90 minutes, knowing, just like when I get on a Peloton, when I get on a Peloton, I want to get off in about 27 seconds because I'm like, this is fucking hard. But I started a 30-minute ride, so I got to stay on for the whole 30 minutes, and I force myself to do it. Same thing. I got a 90-minute block that I'm going to work on X. I'll stay the course. And as soon as that timer goes off, I am out. Peace. Something new, and I'm on to the next thing on my list. So I've learned to discipline, follow time blocks to keep myself in check. I'm doing a bunch of different things throughout the day that I don't get bored.
You read the one thing? Is that where you got your time blocking from?
I have read the one thing, but that's not where I got my time blocking from. I don't know where I got it from, but it wasn't that.
See, you do so much more than I do. How's that?
So I'm at 61 books read so far this year with 5 on the board. So
that's awesome.
Wow.
So my goal right now is to get to 100 by year end.
See, if I can get through an Archie comic, I'm going to be happy. Betty
I read voraciously.
I love Archies. Those were great.
Don't go back, because I actually bought one recently.
Okay. It's in the back of mine. It was great.
But you do a lot of different things, though, too. I mean, I'm just curious, do you time block?
I time block, yes. I live by my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, then it doesn't exist to me.
Yeah,
my husband and I get in not fights. We've learned how to communicate very well now, but if he doesn't schedule time on the calendar, he doesn't exist either.
My problem is the only squirrels are I get probably 100 DM slacks a day from the team asking what about this, what about that, what about this, what about that. And I do have to deal with those in a timely manner. Other emails come in. Spencer sends me an email. I'll pretty much blow that off to the end of the day.
Thank you.
But the Slack channel, that's my priority, right?
Yeah.
Because those are they have clients. They have clients who are buyers. They have clients who are sellers.
Yep.
I have clients. Because they have to offer value. They have to offer service to their clients. I have to offer value, service to my clients. My clients are our agents. Right. My clients are our family. So when they reach out, I have to be there to respond to them. When Spencer reaches out, I just got to get to him.
Spencer will also send you a fire emoji if it's really important.
Yeah.
There is that. Yeah. So I've never had to really reach out.
Yeah.
I can say I don't think I've ever had to reach out to Hillary. Maybe once, and that would I can't remember it, but I don't feel like I've ever had to reach out to you. There's on occasion that I'm like, you know what's hitting the fan right now? Right. I need to talk. But it's rare, right?
Lately,
it's experts.
No. But you know what? Which is interesting though, because when you guys first came on, and I think part of this was an ownership issue. Own it. See, I'm bringing that back in. But it was an ownership issue because you had your own brokerage beforehand, and then you're coming into a structure where now you have a back end where you don't have to worry about these things and releasing some of those things. There was a huge trust issue there from the start. I mean, it really was. And now, and now you are some of my favorite people to talk to. Because I think we've gotten into a rhythm where if I am being involved now or whatever, you trust me, I trust you on these things. How difficult was that of a pivot for you?
It was hard because I'm probably
Are you also
a really
OCD?
big control freak. OCD might not be the right word, obnoxiously overbearing.
Type A, right?
OAB, I don't know, whatever that is. Yeah, type A. So I have my fingers in everything. I want to verify everything. I don't want to micromanage along the way. You do you, but at the very end, before you're ready to launch it, so make sure this shit's right.
Yeah, right.
Right? And so giving some of that up has been a process and handing some of that off. And some of it I've been able to, and some of them I still really hold close and dear and haven't been able to relinquish yet. working on that with my therapist, named
Yep.
Spencer.
No, and by the way, to be clear, I mean, there were missteps on my part as well, because I needed to figure out, where to meet.
There's a dance,
too.
right?
Yeah.
I think you do that
everybody.
within Anvil too, with your support staff, and considering the retention that you guys have with your agents and the support staff. Like it's a long process, and I feel like the more time goes on and the more experiences you have together, the more trust is built. The foundation gets better.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, what's your big failure goal this year?
Big fail.
Where you're just putting it out there, and if because if you don't hit this goal, or like what's your big plan, where you're thinking like, where you're seeing the future. I don't know if it's just looking at a year, maybe it's 5 years timeline, whatever it is. But like, what's the big thing?
I don't know if it's a big failure goal, but I will tell you what I'm now beginning to spend a significant amount of time on. Because I feel like I got a lot of other projects put to bed, is I'm going hours per week, some even days, putting a plan B into effect, depending on what happens with these commission lawsuits.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Like we're building out the plan, we're building out the art, we're building out the presentation, we're building out the advertising.
These are buyer's agent presentations.
If that were to happen,
we need to chat. Okay,
right?
yeah.
And it might not. And then it'll be really cool. I'm going to put that plan on a shelf right next to my World Series baseball for the World Series. It never happened because I have one of those. Mm-hmm. It never happened. It had extra balls, so I bought one at like an auction. And that plan will sit there. But if it does happen, I don't want to be running around with my hair on fire trying to play catch up or get in front of it. So I want to know, like, how are we going to present it? What's our value proposition going to be? How are we going to get buyers to agree to it? Is it going to be an a la carte menu? We charge this much based on what you need. And I don't really know. Like, I'm working all of this out. I'm going to masterminds. I'm traveling and talking with other top people across the country with, like, trying to figure this shit out, right? Mm-hmm. Because it could happen.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so
that would be the big the big failure would be like, I spent a gang of time. I spent like hundreds of hours over the course of this year, and I didn't even need it.
But you've shown historically that you're able to pivot. So you can, like you just said, you do all this homework, this work, and you can then morph it into something that is also usable.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe I will be able to morph that into a completely different idea, right? But I don't want to be caught unawares.
Yeah, or with your pants down.
I want to be running the show. If it happens, he's the only guy who's got his shit together.
Yeah,
that's what I want to be.
Yeah, but on top of it, it couldn't really hurt anyway because there are buyer's agents. So imagine if your buyer's agents are the top and do already put these practices into place. And I think it's just a win-win no matter what.
Yeah, so that would be the big fail. I spent a countless amount of hours on something I never needed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, spin it to positive. What's the big goal for 2023? We're halfway through, a little over.
More than halfway, yeah.
It's going to be a weird goal, but I'm going to tell you my friend Ed Kaminsky taught me this goal. My weird goal is to be the number 2 firm at side.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm not catching Brett. I'm just not, right? And I'm cool with that. So my friend Ed Kaminsky taught me that. He was like the number 2 agent at Shorewood Realty for like 20 years. He could never catch Roger, which was the number 1 guy. And finally, he's came to the determination, like, you know what? As long as I'm number 2 and chasing him, it's a good place to be. Mm-hmm. And so my goal is to, last year we were in the top 10, but my goal is to get to number 2 and to only be chasing one person. So that'd be my big goal for the year. Yeah,
my friend has this theory. He always wants to be drafting. He was a cyclist, and he's like, I always want to be behind.
Oh, you want to be drafting that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And I kind of pick up the pieces that they're not.
So that'd be my goal, is to just to have Brett in front of me.
I like it. One question that I wanted to get to is, you have this amazing company that you've built and a great culture, and it's got a story. What is the long-term retirement or want to move to an island or pass it down to your kids goal? What is the goal for the company itself?
We started a profit-sharing plan.
Ooh.
Inside of Anvil, right? So one of the things that we're launching is a profit-sharing plan. I'd like to roll that out bigger and bigger and bigger, and when we're ready to step back and step out, is be able to sell it to the agents and have it be a co-op amongst them. This is
the second time I've heard this idea.
That would be optimal, right? Yeah. And I think we're already going down that line now with the co-op and getting people used to it and understanding it. So that would be the exit strategy, is to sell it to them and maybe upfront money, maybe some sort of residual income. Yeah. That's probably the long-term play.
I like that. Creativity.
I mean, the fact you're talking about, where you're seeing in this profit-sharing plan and all that, you really spend a lot of time thinking these things through.
And I actually again, I got that idea originally. I've morphed it, but the idea came from Brett.
Sure.
Right? And I kind of took it from Brett and then put my own spin on it, did my own thing. One of the things I've learned though this last year, like I don't call it a failure, but my biggest lesson is the more ways I can find to make my agents money, the more money I'll make. The profit sharing plan, so I'm giving away some of my profit voluntarily. Like, hey, everybody, guess what I'm rolling out? Like, just as a voluntary giving away some of the profit of Anvil that my wife and I have made, right? But our belief in doing so is they will want to create more profit, and it will then not only make them money, but it'll make me money. We've started recruiting a growth plan. The more that I can help, that they can help Anvil grow, they will be rewarded for it, but that reward, I will get paid back in spades. So the more ways I can find to help them make money, I'll be more successful too. And it's like, it's the true definition of win-win. That's probably the biggest aha this year. It's like, I've got to be more creative in helping them succeed.
I think that's the big...
We're not going to get better than that.
No, we're going to end on a very high note. But in addition to that, I think the central philosophy that you have, which is build the culture around your family and the family around your culture in the work environment, it says everything. But
everything else will fall into place if that piece is correct.
Yeah. So we will link to your wonderful book and all the accoutrements that go along with it.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate you chatting with us and telling us all your fun.
It was fun. Now we get to enjoy Inman.
I know. Yeah. Now we can go and have a drink for lunch.
I got a stress ball from the one of the one of the vendors. I'm
I feel like you should need a couple.
I'm going to go back in.
I've heard some of your calls, especially with my people. You need hourly stress balls.
One on each hand. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Well, Captain of Culture, Anvil, Dan Smith. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You got it.
Thank you.